and one of the senior account managers here at Flippa.com. Really excited to be coming to you live from Austin, Texas. We've got Blake Hutchison, our CEO from Melbourne, and we've got some fantastic presenters from around the globe here for you today. As you all know, Flippa is the #1 marketplace globally where you can buy and sell online businesses and websites. Just a bit of an update about how Flippa's progressing at the moment. On average, we're getting over 4,500 new listings a month from sellers, and currently our buyer pool sits at 250,000 buyers worldwide. So today's a really, really exciting webinar we've got in store from everybody. We've got 3 fantastic businesses and their owners are going to be presenting. The concept's really simple. We want to really share with the community the strength of some of our sellers, and what a better way to do it than in a mini Shark Tank style presentation. So we've got 3 sellers today, and the format's super simple. Each seller will get up for a 4-minute presentation, and following the presentation, Blake will walk them through a brief Q&A. So just to give you a bit of an introduction, we've got Lorenzo from analogwatchco.com. He's going to be presenting first. Next up, we've got Mark McDermott, who's coming to us live from London. Mark's a long-time Flippa user and has previously sold a business called Twillet on Flippa. He's now got Learn Apps, which is a language app portfolio on sale on Flippa at the moment. And then finally, we've got Jack from Miami, Florida. He's got a 2.5-year-old Amazon FBA business called Blue Peak Storefront, again, for sale on Flippa. All right, so as the community, what we just request of you is if you've got any questions for us or the sellers today, just pop your questions in the Q&A section. We'll do our best to get to those questions either today or post a call. And of course, we'll cut up the video and circulate it to everybody after the webinar concludes. All right, so really excited to kick things off. Lorenzo, this is you. If you can just jump on for us and share your screen, and when you're ready, take it away. How you doing, Lorenzo? Can you just double check your microphone's working for us?
All right, I think, are we good now?
Yeah, mate, perfect. So yeah, whenever you're ready, go for it, mate. I'm really excited to hear your presentation.
All right, everybody. Hi, guys. I'm Lorenzo. Analog Watch Company is an e-commerce accessory brand that I launched a few years ago with both direct-to-consumer and business-to-business revenue streams. So I launched Analog 6 years ago after really identifying a gap in the watch market. I found that there were really few brands offering a unique value proposition emphasizing design, natural materials, and the environment. And so I saw this as an opportunity. We operate with really high margins. Most of our products have an 8 to 10 times markup. We have a 24% customer return rate. And I think that's because our brand messaging is clear. We have a mission and we worked with notable partners. While we're a small e-commerce company, we really are perceived as a brand. Even the company name was decided based on SEO strategy. So we get consistent organic traffic from people searching for analog watches. It's been really fun and lucrative for me. My discretionary earnings have been $623,000 on 1.6 million in sales. So there's a part of social mission involved in the brand. We contribute a small portion of every sale to environmental nonprofit partners. It's a really easy, nice value add-on for our customers that's really aligned with today's buyers. And we also see design as having value, and this is evidence in our major partnerships with museums like MoMA, the Guggenheim, the Smithsonian, and custom B2B projects we've done with companies like Maker's Mark and Mercedes-Benz. So here's some quick data for you. Lifetime sales are 1.6 million with my seller's discretionary at 623,000. The trailing 12 months have been 225,000 in sales. So on the left here, you see some eyewear and some bangles. And I'm showing these because the last 2 years, we found a lot of traction in off-the-shelf items branded as analogs, such as these eyewear and bangles. The eyewear is sold at Urban Outfitters, direct-to-consumer online, through our wholesale channels. The bangles have sold through MoMA, other wholesale channels. And recently this year, we've added some new drop ship items that ship directly from Asia to our customers. So here's some Shopify only data, the trailing 12 months. We've done $99 in average order value with a 24% return rate. I built the site and I never really attempted to optimize it. So with a 0.91 conversion rate, there's a lot of opportunity for a buyer to improve it. We have a really healthy email list with 45,000 subscribers, and we have 21,000 Instagram followers. So why am I selling? Well, I'm exiting now because I'm young, I'm creative, and frankly, I have other opportunities I want to explore. Last year I had a family issue, which forced me to consciously step back from wholesale, which caused that channel to slow down. But we do have a multi-year track record indicating that this is only temporary. And frankly, it's really an opportunity for somebody to come in and engage in wholesale re-engagement. I've run the business solo or with one employee mostly. And the last 12 months, I've really only dedicated maybe 10 to 20 hours a week to it. I've really been focusing on family first. So there's a number of ways that a new owner could improve. I think number one is really running ads. I've always lacked the patience or the time, and I've only ever spent $15,000 on Facebook ads. So this is a huge area for opportunity. Secondarily, I think opening new channels such as Amazon, expanding to other drop shippers. Number three would be re-engaging with wholesale accounts that we already have in place, as well as engaging with existing leads that we've secured through trade shows. Number four would be launching new items, obviously, white label products. We've already proven that that works. Number five would be growing B2B custom projects. So that's executing outbound inquiries to go ahead and pick up some new projects. And then number six would be SEO, segmenting our email lists, implementing Afterpay. I think one of our biggest assets is that we have a built-in audience. We have a high return rate. We have a big email list. We have a lot of fans who have been early adopters and stayed with us over the years because we've launched lines on Kickstarter. And ultimately, I think people will always buy watches because it's a perfect gift item for birthdays, holidays, special occasions. I mean, we've been able to survive in the advent of smartwatches. Lastly, the sale includes the digital assets, a list of reporters, our social channels. We got $30,000 of inventory at cost, all of our manufacturing partners, vendors, B2B contacts that I've built up over the number of years quite diligently. And then in summation, you also get the word mark and perpetual use of a patent to produce an existing bendable wooden watch line. Guys, it's been really fun and lucrative company to build, and really there's a lot of opportunity to grow and scale, and I can't wait to see where the company goes next. Thanks for watching today.
Lorenzo, thanks so much for the wonderful presentation. Do really appreciate that, and congratulations on the business's success to date. A couple of quick questions just to kick things off. There was a question from the community around your return rate. So could you just give us all some insight into, one, what that return rate is, and then what the major reasons are in the event that someone does end up returning their analog watch?
So that is returning customer rate. It's not product return rate.
Got it.
It's
okay.
Returning customers is 24%. Our return rate is incredibly low. It's well beyond industry standards because of the uniqueness of the timepieces. It's somewhere around maybe 1 to 2%.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Thank you for the clarification. So it sounds like you've got a strong repeat customer base and many satisfied customers instead of the other way around. The other quick question relates to some of these fantastic partnerships and collaborations. So there's a reference to MoMA, there's a reference to Guggenheim. I think Mercedes-Benz is also alluded to there. Could you talk us through what the nature of those relationships looks like?
Yeah, so, over the years, companies have reached out to us to collaborate. And, our first wholesale account was MoMA, and they introduced our first watch line into their stores. And then subsequently they picked up, other products, and we were in 4 different catalogs. So, from a reputational standpoint, I mean, that's kind of like the top echelon for design. I mean, MoMA is critically important. My relationship with those buyers is really important. I think that, obviously there's product of ours that they've turned down that wasn't the right fit for the right season. But I think for an engaged buyer, if you were to design a couple collections, you could really leverage these connections to continue to get products in MoMA. After we had MoMA, we just had other museum stores reaching out. We've got about 100 different museum stores we've sold to over the years. might be around 120. And then in terms of Maker's Mark and Mercedes-Benz, both of those companies had reached out to us to work on co-branded products. So, in one instance we did a corporate gifting situation. Another instance, they wanted timepieces for their ambassador program. In all cases, it was co-branded. So, there's a market of these bigger brands who are seeing the value in these sort of smaller independent companies, and really not only wanting to do a white label design with us, but really have our branding on the product as well. And so, the company's been small. It's me or one other person. So I've never had the bandwidth to go out and engage with those potential buyers. But I think there's a huge opportunity for somebody who's connected in that industry, in the promotional product and incentives industry.
Okay, fantastic. There's lots of questions coming through. So we'll take these on notice and come back to the community, both with the recording of the webinar, but also with written responses to each one of these questions. One more just to finish up. There's obviously a lot of work you've done around Facebook, and clearly that's been successful for you. Do you have some sense of what your return on ad spend is from your Facebook efforts to date?
No. So what I was saying is I've only spent $15,000 on Facebook ads. I suck at Facebook. What I've been really good at doing is crafting unique designs and pitching to media. So part of the sale has, about 6,000 media contacts. We've been covered everywhere from Inc. to Fast Company to Huffington Post to Forbes to every single design site that's out there. We have hundreds of backlinks. That is where I attribute majority of the direct-to-consumer sales and traffic coming from, as well as organic traffic. The fact is, I just have, for whatever reason, my brain just never really comprehended ads. And so at about $15,000 of ad spend, I pulled out of Facebook ads. It just was an area that wasn't my wheelhouse. And for the lifestyle company I wanted to run, we had enough organic traffic coming in that I kind of let it go on autopilot. But it's a huge opportunity for somebody else who's skilled in this area.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're obviously fantastic at building a wonderful brand, creating a good design, something that people love, and clearly your repeat customer base talks to that. And so, for someone who's got expertise in either search or email marketing for that matter, or social, they can probably do wonders with the brand and design that you've got out there today. Okay, wonderful, Lorenzo. Well, thank you so much. Are there any finishing comments you want to make? And as I said, there's a number of questions. There's 9 unanswered questions that we've got to get to. So we'll take those on notice and obviously come back to each one of those buyers with written responses, obviously the recording of your particular presentation. But if there's anything else you wanted to finish with, feel free.
Yeah, it is a small e-commerce company, but really it is a brand. I mean, I guarantee you that all the major watch companies out there are paying attention to us because we're the only people who've made a watch out of solid marble. We're the only people who put real flowers inside a watch. We're the only people who've developed a soft, flexible wooden watch band. We have a lot of world's firsts in our products, which is why we've got the media coverage, but I guarantee that people are paying attention. And we just have an incredible high volume of people that are loyalists. And so I think anybody who's able to either hire a designer or to go ahead and add some other, natural-based products, leather goods, wooden products, I really think this could be a home run for somebody else. I'm creative. I want to do something else, and I really want to see it flourish in the right hands.
Fantastic, Lorenzo. Thank you.
Fantastic. Amazing presentation, Lorenzo. I'd love to invite Mark McDermott from Learn Apps, all the way from not so sunny London. Mark, whenever you're ready, mate, share your screen and take it away.
Cool. Good evening, everybody. Greetings from London, or good afternoon, where you are. Cool. So let me just get this up. Ooh, no, sorry, not share, present. There we go. Cool. Let me just minimize that.
And also, Mark, be lovely for you to touch on very briefly, Twillet and what you've done there, and obviously selling a business on Flippa. This is your second time round. I think there's some significant insights there.
Cool. Yes, absolutely. Well, yes. Good evening. So my name is Mark McDermott. I'm one of the co-founders of a company called Cogent. We were a digital agency and digital products company We built many different digital products over the years. Twilert was our first B2B SaaS company, which was a social media monitoring tool that we ran for the best part of a decade and sold on Flippa literally on New Year's Eve last year. And that's been great. We actually had a really good sale process, a great buyer who's taking it on. And actually, I'm still in touch with him. And he actually just told me the other week that they're growing it quite nicely. So it's a nice story. And the reason that we're selling these products is that one of our main products, a product called Screen Cloud, has taken off. That's now become pretty big. It's a digital signage SaaS platform. We're now up to 80 people, about 10 million in ARR. And obviously that's just demanding all of our attention and time, and all of our older products, we're just now sort of selling, or in some cases just sort of shutting them down. But the ones like Twilert and also Learn Apps, these are some of our favorites, and they've been really successful for us in the past. So I'll just talk you through what Learn Apps really is. It's sort of surprisingly simple, really. It's just mobile language phrase books. So we decided very early that when the app stores just came out, there was a great opportunity there. And because we've always been an international distributed business, we have a team in Bangkok, as well as the UK and in the USA, to build a series of iPhone, Android, tablet, mobile phrase books for beginners and tourists and business travelers when they're on their travels. We built up 20 languages, and inside of each app, you have over 600 native speaker voice recorded phrases that are obviously reflected in text, phonetic as well, with a number of cultural tips and just little simple things which will make your journey into that country a bit simpler. We launched our first app in January 2011, and since then we've amassed over 19 million downloads of the product, and we have not spent a single dollar on advertising. Maybe a theme of this evening, but the advertising spend, we were creatives as well. We really design and build guys, and we really didn't get our handle around paid advertising, so we just never did it. But what we were good at doing was optimizing these products for being found organically. That's the reason we call them Learn, because it's called Learn Thai or Learn French or Learn Italian, and that's the phrase which people often search when they get into the App Store looking for a solution. The other thing we optimized for was to have a really high customer satisfaction rating. The free version is quite generous so that we're not tricking people into having to pay, we're actually giving them something of value. And then when they've been using the app for a bit, we ask for a rating, and every single app is rated at 4 stars and above. The income has been fantastic for us, but obviously, as I explained before, it's time to move on. I'll just go into the product and just show you a quick little demo of that. So as you can see, they're really, really simple, friendly to use, and it really just does what it says on the tin. So how do we make money? Well, we make money from upgrades. We give a certain number of categories of questions, of phrases away for free. And then if you like what you've been using and you want more, you pay $4.99 just to in-app purchase, and that's how you unlock more phrases. So since 2011, we've accumulated $1.6 million in revenue from that. Actually, our customer acquisition cost has been zero, as I mentioned before. And we receive that money in a single monthly payment from the respective app stores, minus their commission. Our actual costs of operation are tiny, under $100, just for a few little bits of software. And this is because obviously the apps are hosted on Apple and Google platforms, and there really is no cost to it. Obviously, if you were to use developers, and we haven't actually developed these apps for a number of years now, but if you were to use developers, obviously that would mean your costs would go up a little bit there. But operationally, it's minimal, and support is not really expected on the App Store, but you could answer a few support questions and things like that. Usually it's about restoring purchases. So going a bit more into the numbers, just looking again at those downloads, all-time downloads, just over 19 million. And in the last 12 months, around 900,000. The top apps for downloads are Korean, Japanese, French, Italian, and Chinese. So interesting is that we have these these Asian languages, which I think often it's modern European languages, which are very popular. And that's kind of a bit unusual. And that's because we had our Asian office. The revenue was 1.6 million all time in the last 12 months. That's been just around $61,000. And again, the top grossing apps are Japanese, it does very well, and Korean, Italian, French, and Thai. In terms of daily active users, that is around 10,000 there, and the top countries that the app is being used in or originating from is USA, Philippines, UK, Australia, and Malaysia. We also find that actually a lot of our customers are not necessarily travelers, but they might be second generation immigrants. So we've had, say, emails from people saying that they talk to their Korean grandma who doesn't speak English, and they use the app to help that alongside. And finally, obviously, Apple tends to gross the most money. I think that the higher the paying customers tend to have iPhones, and the revenue tends to come from the US, UK, Australia, Canada, which makes tons of sense because these apps are for the English traveler. So to wrap up, we're selling this for $250,000. It's a very established brand in the App Store from very early days. We have that large install base, which is ready to be used and optimized further. Operational costs are very low. There's loads of opportunities for modernizing and diversifying the offering. We haven't really taken advantage of them because we've been doing other things. But if you see things like Duolingo and how successful they've been, you can probably see where this could go. I think the unique coverage of Asian languages is also very interesting and something I would urge you to pursue and do more of, especially as we're seeing Asia really flourishing, Southeast Asia especially. So we've loved building this brand. This is one of our original brands that we ever made. It's been profitable for us. It's been fun. We've made a lot of people happy. But obviously we don't have the time to take this forward and keep working with it. We believe it's a great opportunity for someone to take this on and grow it. And I'd welcome any questions.
Mark, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, and also thank you for staying awake. It's 12:30 a.m. there, London time. Am I correct? Yep, you got the coffee going.
Yeah, I got a
congratulations.
Coffee.
Congratulations on building such a great business. There's a couple of questions from the community now. You mentioned the competition and some outstanding players who have overwhelming market share in Duolingo and a couple of others. How do your apps stand out? Obviously, you've got the strength of the brand name, the number of downloads, which is giving you some search prominence there. But do you have some points of differentiation?
Yeah, so I think companies like Duolingo are more really trying to teach you the language. Although we're called Learn, really we are a phrase book. So just think of the classic phrase book that you probably, maybe that older people watching will have remembered when you go overseas. It's just about having these phrases handily on your phone so that you can use them in scenarios like ordering food, getting around. And really what we've done is emphasize simplicity and not try really to push it too much further than that, and just to be quick and useful for those journeys. And people are usually prepared to pay, because when you're going on holiday or a trip, paying $5 for an upgrade, which might get you out of a sticky situation trying to find your way to your hotel or the airport or whatever, is clearly worth it. And that's why I think revenue's really easy to come by with this. I mean, I even have anecdotal evidence. I was in Spain on holiday. I was in a bar. There was an English family next to me, and they literally got the Learn Spanish app out and ordered food and drinks for the whole family. I actually introduced myself as the developer. And so I've met customers even using it in the wild. Yeah, I think really probably the only thing, there's a few clones which try and kind of do the same thing, but actually they're really quite poor quality. And I think, yeah, just being simple, just being honest about what it is, and just providing a good service for a reasonable price. That's all you need to do. I don't really see Duolingo necessarily looking at phrasebook market that much. They're more about sort of, trying to learn the full language.
Yeah, fantastic. I must admit, very aware of the power of translation product. I started my career at Lonely Planet and used to obviously travel the world and would see people using the Lonely Planet guidebooks and of course the translation product there. Not quite as quick as some of you outstanding developers with taking a product to market. So we lost that battle a little bit, but congratulations. So you mentioned that you met one of your customers on the road there and you introduced yourself as a developer, and there has been a question come through from the community around that piece specifically. Do you need to have a technical competency to continue to run this business?
No. I mean, well, yes and no. So obviously day to day, absolutely not. We haven't actually really done any changes to the product. And you can see in the design, it's probably a little bit dated in terms of how most modern mobile apps look now. And we haven't really made any major changes to the product since about 2015. Obviously, once a year, you do have kind of usually a major release by both like an iOS release and Google release. Sometimes you need to make some updates to work on the new version, but actually historically that also hasn't really happened because the apps are so simple, they don't actually really do that much. So not that complicated. Now that said, if you want to then develop the product and kind of introduce new things and try and take it in a new direction, then obviously you will need a development team. The code base is simple. It's, really, you can see it's listings, it's playing MP3 files, favoriting, slowing down stuff. It's actually a kind of really, really quite basic, to be honest. So from a developer, in terms of like the level of developer, you need people who are just competent with native iOS or Android coding, but there's also a proliferation of them. That could be outsourced. I think that would be quite easy to do. So no, I wouldn't say it's a necessity.
Okay. Now, if someone was to acquire the business, however, they probably would need to hire, if they weren't themselves, you would recommend that they hire someone with a development competency. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, although I doubt it would need to be full-time. So I probably would use either freelance or outsource resource because full-time would just be overkill for products that are this simple, really. Let's say it depends on what your plans are. If you're going to introduce a whole load of new things, then maybe you would want full-time resource. But really, I would say, yeah, outsource should be fine. I mean, we tended to do what we used to do when we would do updates. We'd kind of batch it all together, maybe do like a 2-week sprint, roll out the feature throughout all of the products, upload them, have them approved, go live, and then probably leave it for 3 to 6 months before we did anything else. And it was usually just adding new phrases and things like that.
Okay, fantastic. A couple of we'll take two more questions from the community. So the first one relates to the actual production of the apps and the approval of the language creation or the guide there. Does each app go through a native speaker before it goes through and is approved for publication?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously we don't speak all of these languages ourselves. And so what we did, I can't actually remember if that site still exists. I think it's now been bought by Upwork. So we would use online translators. So effectively it was pretty lo-fi. You'd have a Google spreadsheet of all of the phrases. Yeah. And then you would have a native speaker translate them in text and also to record MP3 files. And we would just have guidance on how to record MP3 files nice and clearly that they would do for us. What we then also do is hire another translator, a native speaker, and we'd also kind of vet them and talk to them before and get a sense of how competent they were and also look at reviews and things. And then the other one would come in and would basically just be hired purely to check their work. So in effect, you would just have 2 independent native speakers basically working on the same thing. And so generally speaking, that worked very well. Where that got a bit tricky is, say, things like in Chinese, which is one of our popular ones, because there's actually a lot of different Chinese kind of dialects and slight subtleties depending on which part of China you come from. So China's tricky. But for things like kind of Russia, Arabic, and most of the Southeast Asian languages, that's worked absolutely fine. And then to a degree, if there was, we did get, like, it would be wrong to say that it went completely perfectly. Sometimes with a new language, there was feedback from the community that wasn't, maybe it sounded a little too formal or a little old-fashioned or something like that. And so we would update those things as well. But actually, these have been pretty established. We have the major phrases kind of covered now. So they could do more languages or just expand out further and do more voice recordings.
Okay. Could you just quickly remind the community listening in the revenue model and also performance for the prior 12 months?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the revenue model is dead simple. So let's say you've got a whole list of categories. We give away, I think it's about 4 or 5 basic greeting categories and things like that for free. So you've got about 200 odd phrases which are free for when you download. If you like what you see and you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to use this more, and you want to unlock literally that kind of grayed out the other categories, you just go buy, and then it's an in-app purchase, which most people will have done on their phone, just pops up and it just charges your iPhone, your Apple account straight away. So like you never have any failure with the money, because if the in-app purchase doesn't work, they don't get the extra phrases. So it's $4.99. And it's super simple. And I think one of the other reasons it's popular is the dating section with chat up lines and things like that is in Pro. So we also had a few stories about that, but I might not mention them now. And if we look at the revenue, onto more serious matters, the last 12 months has been around $61,000. As a 1.6 million over all time. The revenue is beginning to tail down, as we haven't done any updates to this in a long time. But it's actually surprisingly steady, really. But yeah, there's opportunity here to come in and kind of reinvigorate that. And exactly the same with Twilio, we put that into passive income mode. The revenue was good. It kind of slowly was tailing down. Obviously, when someone comes in, reinvigorates the product, give it some more life, some more love, it starts to go back up. And there is a massive install base and very, very high rankings. I think that's one thing I probably would leave people thinking about. It depends on what country you're in, but I think in the UK and USA, if you put something like learn Japanese into just search it in the App Store, I think we actually come up higher than Duolingo. I'm not sure if Duolingo has Japanese, but we come up like super highly, the 1 or 2 in the natural listings. And actually, we do rank higher than Duolingo on some of their main languages, mainly because we've just been around for so long and we have had that big historic install base. They may not be always using the app, but having that history will help maintain this product in a really high place. And then also the great reviews that we've had, which have maintained even without much changes.
Fantastic, Mark. And look, the key point there, I guess, is that you're obviously working on something which is taken your time away from this particular product. So as you said, if someone can take this on, they get a very, very strong install base, very, very good quality brand, high search results or high quality search results, and can take it and run with it from there. Thank you so much for your presentation.
No worries, no worries. And thanks for listening, everyone. I hope that's been useful.
Thanks again, Mark. And as mentioned, for all those people who have listened to the Analog Watch co-presentation as well as Mark's presentation for Learn Apps, we will obviously be taking all the questions on notice and be reporting back to everyone else. And Charlie, I believe we're ready to go with the last presentation for today, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Blake, and thanks again to Mark. Jack from Blue Peak Storefront is our final presenter for this afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. So Jack, if you could just fire up your computer for us, share your screen, and begin your presentation whenever you're ready. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Charlie. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you're good to go.
Awesome. So I'm Jack. I'm originally from Venezuela, South America. That's where my accent is from. I moved to the US about 6 years ago, and now I'm based in Miami. About 2 years ago, I founded Blue Peak. So Blue Peak is a brand in the drinkware category. We currently have 13 SKUs that we buy from 3 different suppliers. We have protein shakers in bottles in many models, sizes, and colors. We also carry stainless steel tumblers. Those are used to keep your beverages hot or cold. And we also have an espresso capsule carousel that has been very successful too. So far, we have sold more than 120,000 units, generated more than $1.8 million in revenue, and we're very proud of having a seller rating of 4.8 out of 5, And this is the average from the reviews of about 1,200 of our customers. Here's a summary of our track record since inception. We have been growing our revenue and profits consistently since we started the company. And as you can see, our profit has been growing faster than our revenue. And this is based or due to our efforts to increase our margins. Beyond that, we think that our store is poised to keep growing. We are about to launch 3 new colors of our 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler. And we think we're very confident that these will bring incremental sales. We also recently optimized all our ad campaigns with the help of an AI software company. And the preliminary results are super exciting. Our margins increased massively. So the opportunities for the new owner to keep growing the account in the immediate future is to increase the ad spend to increase revenue. You can also easily expand to other Amazon marketplaces and start selling on Walmart and eBay, develop more color variants for the current SKUs, which is super easy because the products are already developed, and quickly develop new products with our proven suppliers. It's also worth to mention that our account is pre-qualified for a loan for $134K from Amazon that you can leverage to keep growing the business. So the way we're structuring this deal is that we're asking for 1.5 times annual profits. And this includes the account, the listings, all the creative assets, the trademark, and our supplier relationships. And the second part of the structure is the inventory, which we would sell to you at cost. And that's it, guys. I'm open for your questions.
Fantastic, Jack. Thank you so much. And congratulations on building a successful Fulfilled by Amazon business. A couple of quick questions to begin with. Do you have a sense of what your average order value is? I mean, clearly you've got very strong unit sales. You've got a growing business. What is the AOV?
I would have to get back to you on that because actually it varies. Well, first of all, when we launched the stainless steel tumblers, they're at a higher price point than the protein shakers. So that changed a little bit the AOV. And also based on the time of the year, for example, it's in the season of Christmas, the AOV is higher than, let's say, June, July, right? So it actually varies depending on the season. For us, it will be actually the perfect timing for someone to come in. Our business actually booms in November, December, January, and February, in part because people gift these products for Christmas and also, New Year resolution to get fit. So everyone goes back to the gym in January, February, and even March.
Fantastic. Just remind myself and also the community, how long has the business been running for?
So we started selling on Amazon in late May, early June 2017.
2017, okay. And it's clearly direct to consumer for the most part. Do you do business to business at all?
We haven't explored that avenue. We think that there's a great opportunity. Just so you and the rest of the audience get an idea of what our plan is basically launch on Amazon, grow the brand, and polish all the aspects of our products to then transition to brick and mortar to basically knock on the doors of the big retail chains.
Okay, understood. Just with respect to the actual product, could you talk us through that specifically? One, where and how it's manufactured, and whether there's anything proprietary about the product, anything that's differentiated about it compared to other products on the market?
Sure. So all our products are being manufactured in China. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of things that I could mention that are proprietary. Of course, just having the brand gives you some differentiation just because the brand has already a line of products and gives some trust to the buyers. Also, when someone is at one of your listings, they can jump to another one of your listings of a similar product, right? So for example, on the shaker bottles, we added what we call the dual shaker technology, which is basically that we add the shaker ball and what we call a mixing grid, so you can use any of these two different ways of mixing your protein shakes, right? We have also been very successful in part because we added very nice, what we call gift boxes. So this makes the product more presentable. It makes it a good option for to use as a gift. On the stainless steel tumblers, we also created a bundle in such a way that it has the best of both worlds, like very good pricing and at the same time, super good value with what we're bringing in that box.
Okay, fantastic. And just talk us through a little bit about your channels to market. Obviously, it's an FBA product, but are you currently either selling through alternative channels or at minimum marketing through other environments, Facebook? Do you have any Google search result presence? Could you talk us through that a little bit, please?
Sure. So this, as of today, has been an only Amazon play. And that's one of the reasons that I think there's a lot of opportunity for someone, for the new owner to come in and literally double the sales within 1 year. I really have no time to keep exploring new channels. And that's, one of the reasons that I think this could be awesome for any new buyer, right? What else can I tell you about that?
No, that makes total sense. It's clearly a pure play Amazon store. We understand that. As you say, there's quite a little bit of, quite a lot of opportunity in alternative, either paid or organic media and marketing channels. So that sounds reasonable to me. Are you actually spending with Amazon through their Amazon paid media program?
Yes. So just for the audience that is not 100% sure of how an Amazon business works, basically we ship the product to Amazon in pallets, and then whenever someone buys a product, Amazon ships it directly to the consumer, okay? So we do spend we do spend on ads within the Amazon marketplace. Mm-hmm. I would have to check what we're currently doing, but last time I checked, it was basically 9% of revenue spent on ad.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Well, let's take that question on notice. 9% of revenue sounds reasonable. We'll go back to one of the community members who specifically asked some questioning around that. Just with respect to the company structure, how many employees are involved in Blue Peak?
There are no employees. I've been operating this solo. So that's one of the beauties of this business, because Amazon is basically your logistics partner. So once they ship pallets with products to them, they receive everything, and you can see everything on the portal, what they received, what they did not, and then they ship the product to the consumer. Every day we receive maybe 2 or 3 emails from consumers, basically, very easy to respond customer service. It takes me about 15 minutes. And then once a week, I check the inventory that we have on the Amazon warehouses to then ship more inventory when some SKU is running low, right? So it's very, very easy to operate.
Mm-hmm. Great. And clearly the product is orientated to those who are fitness enthusiasts. It's clearly a health and wellness slant. Have you actually participated in any partnerships or partnered with social media influencers who are central to this space, or has marketing been less of a focus for you?
Marketing has been less of a focus because, again, I'm managing about 4 to 5 different businesses.
Yeah.
And I really, have no time to put in that effort that I agree with you. It could be amazing.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, in reality, that's not that different to the other two presenters on the call today, as well as other online business owners we see. Often prolific entrepreneurs have a passion project and running a number of other things at the same time. So looking to leverage what they've built today and realize some value in that. Thank you so much, Jack, for the wonderful presentation. Congratulations on building a great business. Clearly found a niche, and obviously FBA businesses are popular. And so thank you very much for your time. And over to you, Charlie.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake, and thank you, Jack. So that concludes proceedings for this evening here in Austin, Texas, and whatever time it is around the world. Of course, and as we mentioned before, we will be distributing the information that was contained within the webinars out to everybody who's joined us today. And of course, if anybody would like to directly contact myself or one of the sellers, we'll provide the necessary way to do that. So that's it for us today here at Flippa. Thank you once again to all our panelists and presenters. Thank you to Blake for your questions, and thank you to the community for providing us with some really interesting questions and challenges. So that's me, over and out. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.